This is Vision Preparedness. Good evening, everybody. How's everybody doing tonight? Good to see everybody. I feel like I haven't seen y'all in like forever. Welcome to our Thursday live, and hope everybody's doing good in the land of snow, weather, cold, rain, call it whatever you want. But thank you for showing up. And can I get a 5x5? And in the meantime, I'm going to introduce our guest, my brother from another mother. This dude is just as bad as anybody can be. And I want to do nothing but give him mad props. And everybody give a big, big welcome to my brother from another mother, Hudson Valley Prepping and Survival.
How's everybody doing tonight? Thirsty Thursday.
There you go. Thirsty Thursday. Lift your cup, and if you got one, if you got them, smoke them. I like that cup. By the way, I'm going to get me a hoodie.
Thank you, sir.
I am going to get that We All Gonna Die black hoodie.
Yes, sir. That thing's nice. I've got one on the way, and a couple other things, man. I'm thinking about doing some giveaways, and I think some We All Gonna Die Wednesday stuff is gonna be awesome for it. So awesome. Welcome everybody in the chat. Let's see who we got here. Ontario Prepper, good to see you. Stang, good to see you. My man Marco, White Rabbit. My mother Sparks, good to see y'all as usual. I'm glad to see everybody here tonight. So tonight's topic, you don't have to be alone, folks. Find a group. It's true.
We've talked about this. There's a lot of preppers, a lot of channels have talked about finding a MAG, a group, mutual assistance. And all I hear is I can't find nobody. So I had to bring on the guy who started the Bug Out Weekend. That's how I first noticed it. And from there, that's when my wheels started spinning. So Mike, first of all, tell everybody about your Bug Out Weekends, what you do, and how you came up with the concept.
So it started with just a bunch of friends getting together to test out our gear and stuff. And as things progressed, we had some events where only one or two people could make it out. And it was just one or two of us, and we would test out our gear and, see what it was made of. And, not really intentionally try and break the stuff, but put it through some harsh paces to make sure it would hold up. And it was the kind of stuff we were looking for. And then we noticed that some of us were doing things a little different than others, Some people were using hammocks. Some people had tarp shelters and like bivy sacks. And everybody was doing things a little different. And it got everybody's wheels kind of turning to come out and see the different setups that everybody uses and the different types of gear. And because, you don't always see this stuff online. They're going to feed you a steady diet of what they want you to see. So we started these, probably 7 years ago. And like I said, I've had weekends where nobody showed up. It was just me. And people couldn't make it. The weather was crap and nobody wanted to come out. But through the years and just being persistent and keep having these things and keep having them, they've grown. They've grown a lot. And the last Bug Out Weekend, I would say we had probably 40 to 60 people. Nice. We definitely had I would say at least 45 people spend the night with us over the weekend. So 45 people came out, tested out their gear, and saw what they were made of. And some people made some mistakes. Some people learned that some of their gear wasn't exactly what they had hoped it was going to be. And I'm glad they found out now and not in a situation where their life was dependent upon the gear. You know, if your stuff failed, I could throw you a tarp, I could throw you a hammock. Everybody packs heavy when we go to these things to make sure that if somebody else fails, at least we have a fail safe for them. Exactly. And there's enough skilled people there to be able to bail you out if your stuff fails. I'm a big fan of improvise, adapt, and overcome.
Yep, absolutely.
If everything falls apart, I'm going to pick up the pieces and see what I can make of it first before I give up.
Right.
Because failure is not an option.
Correct. Failure is not an option. Good to see you, Titan. Glad you joined us. My man, this dude right here, he don't play. He's hard. Content creators that are in the chat, if you type the word vision, it will drop a link to your YouTube channel. And for those of y'all that haven't subscribed, subscribe to these great content creators, because that's what it's all about. It's all about sharing and preparing. Okay. Absolutely. That's why we're here. So Mike, you do a bug out weekend and you do a yard sale, right?
Yeah, we do a prepper yard sale too, man. That's a lot of fun. That's where I get to take the stuff that I found out didn't work for me, but there's nothing wrong with. It just doesn't really fit the scheme that I'm running. And you know, I test stuff out all the time. I'm always trying new stuff, and everybody else is too. So your gear is constantly evolving. And it's a great way for us to give back to the community to low to no cost items. You know, we have a huge giveaway table, and we give so much stuff away at these events. Right. If you show up and you need something, you don't have the money, I'll give it to you. Right. I'll give it to you. Right. So it's all about helping people get a little further along in their preparedness journey, or try something that they haven't thought of yet, and getting out of that comfort zone.
Right. Exactly. That's what it's all about, getting out of the comfort zone. You know, that's like with me. I had, you know, didn't have a channel, but I was subscribed to a lot of the preppers and just watched them. And then I was like, you know what? I got some skills. I can do this, and I have some content. And, you know, I just started emailing, you know, I hit some of the big preppers like Pinball and North Shore, and just said, I'm thinking about a channel. And I talked to a couple others, and, you know, they told me to, you know, be yourself, be genuine. If you don't know something, tell them that. Tell them you don't know.
Exactly. Honesty is the best policy.
Exactly.
I am definitely one for, if I don't know, I'm going to tell you who to go to that I think knows the answer for you.
Exactly.
And that's another great part about having the events, is having so many people around that even I learn at my events. You know, I learn something new at every single event from someone. Is the prepper yard sale, is that online for the out of towners? No, unfortunately not yet, but where there's a will, there's a way, right? We can figure something out. So,
by the way, folks, if you have questions, at the top of the chat, there is a question box. Drop your questions in there and we'll bring them up. But yeah, so prepper yard sale, that how did you, I mean, that was just a giveaway or a way to sell gear that you don't use. And if somebody, like you said, couldn't afford it,
it originally started with, like, again, just a couple of friends who had a bunch of stuff, and it was like, hey, you guys want to get together and have like a little swap meet? You know, I've got a lot of extra stuff here that I'm not using. So maybe you guys want to check it out and see what I got that I'm looking to pass on. And yeah, man, it worked out great. People were swapping this and that, and oh man, let me check out that tent, and you got a baby sack, bro, I'll trade you this for it and give you a couple bucks. And man, it worked out phenomenal for everybody. And so we just make it a bigger event.
Right. No, I'm still not a success. I'm out here just doing the things.
It's nonstop hard work.
It's nonstop hard work. Right. No,
Yep.
I was never overnight success and never will be. If it comes too quick, then you got it illegally. I'll put it at that. So you said, Mike, your last one, the last bug out weekend you had somewhere between 45 and 60 people.
Yes, it was big. Not everybody comes out and spends the night. Some people just want to come through and shake hands and meet some like-minded people. Hey, it's all about whatever you're comfortable with, man. Just get out there and do it.
Right.
Yes, going to meetups are a great way to know people.
Absolutely, my mother Sparks. That's what it's all about. Good to see you, my ride and die triple threat in the house. Good to see you, lady. Good to see you. But yeah, so Mike, we hear, and we've talked about this before, and I've talked with other content creators. A lot of people say there's nobody. They've met nobody like-minded in their area that preps or wants to do any of this. How do we go about it? We've kicked around some ideas. How are some things?
So something that worked really well for me was the groups on Facebook. If you can find a preparedness group on Facebook in the group section, and just get on there and scroll through the posts and chat with people. And maybe put up a roll call post on there and see where folks are from. See if I'm looking for folks in this area, and put a post up and see what people have to say.
Right.
And that worked really well for me. And then starting your own group in that area. If you're not finding what you're looking for, you're going to have to make it yourself, guys. That's all it comes down to. If it doesn't exist already, it's on you to create it in your area. And you can do it. I promise you can. It's not that hard. Keep things online, get a feel for people for a while. And then obviously you have to branch out and start meeting people in person. That's a good one.
Exactly. So we do have a question in the chat, question that came in. RJ Funches asks, what's the best advice for newbies? So RJ, as far as what? Expound on that a little bit.
Yes.
The best way for newbies.
Are you talking preparedness? Are you talking looking for a group? Yeah, that's the magic question. That's the magic question.
Yeah. And whoever killed the bot, thank you for killing the bot. There was a bot in the chat. What'd he say?
So Titan Preparedness asks, when I do these weekends, how do you set them up? Just go through a group chat or Facebook, or is it on someone's national land or national forest? I have them on private property. So it's formerly a paintball facility, and the guy's got a ton of property, and he lets us roam out there for nothing. So I don't have to charge anything for these events. So they're all free for folks to come out and test out their gear and enjoy themselves for the weekend. Cook over the fire, you get in touch with your freeze-dried stuff. It can be as real of a bug out as you want it to be, or it can be a camping experience if you want it to be. It's all about you and what you're willing to put into it.
Exactly. And that's the whole key, folks. Like the bug out weekend I'm planning for June. Okay. We're going to be at a state park, but we're going to be able to do everything but anything with firearms. I desperately tried to get private property and it just didn't come through, but we're going to have everything that we need, actually restrooms and all of that good stuff. So
awesome.
Ladies, you don't have to worry about going behind a tree or in a bucket.
Hey, that helps a lot. It helps a lot.
It does. It does.
So I do use Facebook to organize these events. Okay. I find that I can put it out to a few more people, share it in a few more groups, and maybe bring in some new folks. That's why these things keep growing through YouTube, through the Facebook groups. I've met a lot of great people at these events. And we really haven't had any issues with anybody. Occasionally somebody comes out and really wants to tie one on, and they fall asleep next to the campfire, but we make sure they make it back to their tent that night and get a good night's sleep,
Yeah.
But it's not too bad, man. People have the best of intentions. And yeah, Brandon Rhodes says people. Yeah, people. You gotta have a group.
People.
Gotta
Have people. Right, Brandon. Gotta have people. That's how it works. People. So
Yep.
RJ said preparedness and finding a group. And we basically just talked about that, and that's what we're talking about tonight.
Yeah. And preparedness, I would start with just a small box of food, just extra non-perishables. The Livingston Man really preaches the Livingston Man box. He wants you to get a big storage tote and fill it with non-perishable foods and have at least a week's worth of food there. He really stresses that Livingston Man disaster box. So
exactly. And that's the thing. You start out prepping, small, but as far as finding a group, start with people
small
you know.
too.
Yeah,
exactly.
Smart small. Like I was telling you, I met a guy that our sons play football together, and he's military, and I kept watching him, and we introduced ourselves, and he always carried this bag on his shoulder, same bag all the time. And one day I just asked him, "What's in the bag?" He just smiled at me, and so I knew what it was. And from there, he's the one who really got me back into prepping right before Charlie 19 hit. Yep. And we're best of friends. He's in the group, and he brought people with him. And, just people start just talking to people bring up topics and subjects. Yep. What do you think of the food prices? And let them
steer it. Let them steer the conversation too. You don't necessarily have to thump them over the head with the rice and beans. Right. It's like a family reunion. Even if you don't know the people you're meeting, you're all there for the same reasons, guys. You all came for the same reasons. Everybody's a little apprehensive, but throw a joke out there and you'd be surprised. Everybody's going to laugh along with you.
Absolutely. And that's the whole key. I even got some guys at my church that are on the security team with me. And we started talking, and then they kept asking me tons and tons and tons of questions. So I invited them over to the house.
Yep.
And next thing you know, 3 of the 4 have started prepping.
Awesome.
For sure. And you guys know I'm missing probably half the chat because I can't watch the chat and talk at the same time. So my skills are horrible, but I will tell you this. I got a new laptop today.
Ooh, fantastic.
It is awesome. And got my extra monitor hooked up and all that. So my mother Sparks makes some bacon and call them. There you go.
That's right. They all show up when you're making bacon.
Exactly. And my mother Sparks, when y'all come to the bug out weekend, you're in charge of breakfast. I will help, but I've heard you do awesome breakfast. So there you go. Just like Fed Up American, he showed up on my channel. We started talking, come to find out he's in Ohio. He's about a half an hour away from me.
I'm telling you, man, I think probably half my subscribers are from Ohio. I'm telling you, I have so many people from Ohio in my chats. It's unbelievable.
Right. And so, we just made it a set of time, met for coffee to fill each other out and just have a conversation face to face. And awesome. It worked out perfectly. So Titan preparedness. Yep. I tell everyone, pretend a power outage is coming. What would you need? Food, water, a way to cook, and a way to charge a phone or radio and build from there. Absolutely.
That's the way to do it. That's the way to do it. Start small, basics, food, water, shelter, and then move on from there. Security, especially if you're in a urban or suburban area. You want to think about security.
Yeah. And then once you get security locked down, now you want to talk about communications, just in case, folks, if the grid goes down, you need your communications.
Yep. Got to be able to talk over distance.
Exactly. And here's another thing I'm going to share to everybody in the chat. that happened to catch the live stream I did last Saturday and talked about secrets, here's secret number 3. If you show up at the bug out weekend, we may be giving one of these away.
Right.
We got all kind of stuff, all kind of giveaways planned away, folks,
Awesome,
and it's going to cost
awesome.
you absolutely nothing.
Fantastic.
And
Fantastic.
Rumor has it there's going to be what I call in the YouTube streets some superstars that are showing up.
Could be.
And yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that. But I'm excited. I'm excited for that. And you know, guys and ladies, when you're in the grocery store, and you know, I see so many guys in the grocery store that are just standing there looking at the food prices and shaking their head.
Yep.
Start up a conversation.
It's a great icebreaker, man. It's a great icebreaker.
Exactly.
And the big one for me is talk to your neighbors. Talk to the guys right down the road. The people you wave at every day. Just stop by, roll the window down, say, "Hey, man, how's it going? I wave to you all the time. Just wanted to say my name is Mike. It's nice to meet you. I live right up the road here," and just strike off a conversation with them, because they are going to be the closest ones to you when things fall apart.
Right. I just finally met my other neighbor to the west of me the other day. I was cutting wood with a chainsaw. He came out and he just stood there because he said he didn't want to scare me. We introduced each other. He works for one of the power companies.
Fantastic.
So I'm waiting to see him to have another conversation, you know, about what they do and what they're doing. And he has a wife and kids. So yeah, head of lettuce keeps going up in price. Absolutely. There was, Titan Preparedness. The bug out weekend is in Ohio, first weekend of June 2nd through the 4th. And I'm going to try some fancy tech here because I watched this live stream called We All Gonna Die Wednesday. And these cats do some stuff. And I want to share something real quick with everybody. And I think this will work. Let's see if this happens. Okay. Our website is up and working, folks. visionpreparedness.org. We're loading content. But the one thing I wanted to share, if you go to our About page over here, it will show you upcoming events. And here it is, Bug Out Weekend 2023, June 2nd through the 4th in Ohio. More details to come. So y'all can finally check out the website. We're going to have a lot of cool stuff that's going to show up. A lot of cool gear, some swag, some classes that you'll be able to take online. And we got a lot of stuff coming.
Fantastic.
So, what else did we miss? There is
Yardbirds. Yes.
These neighbors will be coming out of the woodwork when you're the only one with lights on, so might as well meet them first. So here's my take on that. Because if the power goes down, my gen rec will kick in. And before it kicks in, I'm turning it off and physically turning off lights. So that, because I have lights that light up outside, turn all those off so that you can't see that I have electric. And then from there, strategically, we'll be turning on lights in the house.
Yep. Blacking out windows. Yep.
Right. Blacking out windows, putting up the contractor bag, board up the windows if necessary.
Absolutely.
You know, especially if it's an SHTF event. But yeah, neighbors will be coming out the woodwork. So you might as well meet them.
You know what travels further than light? The smoke from your fire and the smell of your food cooking. If somebody's hungry, they're going to smell that barbecue from 10 miles away. They're going to, ooh, somebody's grilling. And then you're going to meet some real hungry people. So something to keep in mind.
Exactly. So we got another question here from Marco. What's your strength and preparedness?
Mine? Honestly, I think it's bringing people together. I really do.
Okay. I can see
I
that.
really do. I think it's bringing people together. I don't always have the right ideas, but when I can get all of the good heads together, we can come up with some incredible stuff. So,
Right, exactly. And for me, my strength, I, I would have to say it's medical, but I try to well round myself. My weak point would probably be herbal remedies and gardening, because I told my mother Sparks, oh, so now I got to be a chemist to be able to put all this stuff together.
yeah.
But I would say medical and security are my two strengths. Yeah. But everybody has a strength, but we try to be well-rounded in everything.
Absolutely. A jack
That's
of all trades, so to speak.
correct. A jack of all trades and a master of none. Explorer Nation, I'm buying my first property next year, and my first priority is building a bunker. Okay.
Hey, put it under the basement. Under the basement. They'll never look for it. That's right. Under the basement.
Exactly. Here's a good one for you, Mike.
It's not a chance, bro. This is where it goes down. Hudson Valley Prepping and Survival.
Right.
The real
we all
deal.
gonna die
the
Wednesday.
OG, the one, the only. That we all gonna die Wednesday.
Yes, and
I even Bear Independent said that he didn't want to piss in anybody's Cheerios. So
he sure did. I saw that brief. I was on that brief that morning, and you were in the chat, and he was like, "Okay, I'm not trying to do nothing."
That's right, because it wasn't even me. It was my subscribers were like, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" It was hilarious. But no harm, no foul, man. TJ's a great dude.
Yes,
he does amazing things for people in general. Yes. Not even touching on the preparedness community, just people in general. So it's hey, there's enough we all gonna die Wednesday to go around.
Correct. And if I ever hit the lottery, I'm donating to everything he does. Caleb House, everything. I'm donating to everything, because he puts it down.
I wish I could get free from work to actually go help him on some of these things. Because I know me and Angry would carpool out in a heartbeat.
Yeah, same here. I would too. When he went to Oklahoma, I was like, dang, I wish I could get off work, because I'd head out for a week. But anyway, folks, you have to put yourself out there in order to start building your group.
Absolutely.
You have to. You have to use a little bit of common sense, which is rare, some OPSEC, and just have conversation with people and see where they're at.
Yeah, not everybody's going to be a good fit for you either.
No.
That's another thing to keep in mind, is not everybody's going to be a good fit, and it's okay to say no. It's okay to say, I don't really think you're going to fit with the rest of the folks, even if there is nobody else. You just act as a representative for a group, and see how it goes.
Exactly. And I always use the word we. Yes. Even if it's me, myself, and I, it's like, this is what we do. This is how we roll. This is what we go. For those of you that subscribe to Magic Prepper, he did a great video with 4 of his guys and how they come together. They're all carrying the same weapon. They all have the same gear.
Yep, standardized gear.
Standardized gear. And to me, that is the epitome of a group.
Yes.
Everybody has the same group, same gear and everything.
So my group goals, I would say, moving forward, is to keep connecting with other groups. Yes. I don't necessarily need to add to the group. I just need to expand our reach, so to speak, so that I can find other groups of people who are already together. And I'm not looking to take anybody from your group. I'm not looking to add anybody to your group. I'm just looking to work with you guys and be able to communicate with you when things fall apart.
Correct.
It's in everybody's interest that we know what's going on where. And when nobody's broadcasting that stuff anymore, we might have to do it for ourselves. So
correct. And that's one of the things I'm working on with my core group, getting our ham radio license, because there's people in other states that I consider my core. And I want to be able to put in a base station at my house so that I can still talk to them no matter what state they're in, to hit a repeater and keep talking.
Yeah, that's a big thing for me, man. I've got literal family all the way out on the West Coast, in Washington State. So it's going to take some powerful antenna to push it up over the Rockies. But it's something that I'm working on too. I got to graduate out of the Baofangs and into something a little more powerful. A little more powerful.
And that's one of my guys in my group. He has his license, and he knows radios. He has them, so he's been kind of leading our group into what we need, what to get, and we're prepping for our license. And then I told him, I said, I need the gear to be able to put a base station in the house so I can talk outside of 10 miles around.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But folks, you got to get out of you got to get out of your comfort zone and have a conversation with people.
Absolutely.
Just for instance, I did one live and everybody started talking about, I don't have anybody in my area. And like we talked, either people are serious or they're not looking.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna put that out there.
If you really look, you're going to find people.
Correct.
But you have to put the feelers out there, and you've got to drop them all over the place. In every you just type in prepping in the group section, and 50,000 different groups are going to roll up. Some with 100 people, some with 40, 50, 60, 80, 100,000, maybe even 1 million people in them.
Right, exactly.
And you got to roll the dice that somebody is going to see your post in that group and comment on it and say, hey, I'm here. I thought I was all alone too. And so it rolls from there slowly, but
it rolls.
You got to keep doing it.
Right. Like my mother's Mark Sparks says, vet your people. You got to vet them.
Yeah.
You can't
just welcome everybody with open arms,
Exactly. That's like Triple Threat. We met on, I think it was the Roaming Preppers channel. And we started talking, and I was like, we can do some things together professionally and collaborate and stuff. And, I pulled her into our group. My mother Sparks was one of the second person I met on the channel. And her and her husband, if they need anything, all they got to do is pick up the phone and call.
Yep.
If I have it, they'll get it. And, folks, you got to start talking with people and just spend time, that's like, Wolfgang, he's in Cincinnati. He joined the chat. We started talking and we had a phone conversation, and there it is. He does some videos. He puts up some content, gave him some tips on those and some other things. And, that's where it all starts, folks. You got to talk to people.
Slow and steady. Titan, that's pretty funny. Yes, some folks are a few fries short of a Happy Meal. There's no doubt about that.
Without a doubt, Titan.
And you'll meet them. Those are the ones you just have to say no to. Say, hey, man, listen, I don't really think what we're doing is going to be a good fit for you. Sorry.
Right.
No hard feelings.
No hard feelings. Good luck.
Yep.
And vet these people before you really share any type of intel with them about you or what you're doing and where you're at.
Yes. And so when you're ready to, you think somebody's a good fit, you kind of like the way that the vibe is with them and everybody gels really well. You're going to want to ask them some questions.
Right.
I can't tell you the questions. You're going to come up with the questions, but you're going to want to ask them some questions that are going to require their morals to be put into it.
Correct.
And pay close attention to those answers.
Yep.
And I would absolutely, a lot of people are talkers. They will bullshit you to fit in.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to vet. If somebody says, I've got this bag, I've got this pack, I've got enough for everybody, and you show up and he's got an old busted JanSport backpack and a couple rolls of duct tape.
He said JanSport.
Yeah,
right.
man. That's, it happens because some people are just full of shit. Some people are just full of shit. And you have to learn how to weed them out.
Right.
I've come across them a few times. So
yeah, same here.
It's important.
It really is, folks. We got another question here. What do you do when your mag lives in different areas? How are they going to help you physically being there when you need them?
That's a good question, because my core group over the years has split up, but not because of anything related to the group. It was just people moved.
Mm-hmm.
People got tired of New York State. I live in upstate New Yorkistan.
Mm-hmm.
People got tired of it here. They packed their bags and they moved to New Hampshire. Some moved to Vermont. Some moved to Pennsylvania. New York Prepper used to be one of my neighbors. He lives right down the street. Right. And he took off and left for Pennsylvania. That was a big blow, man, to lose a guy like NY Prepper right down the road.
Wow.
Oh man, that would hurt me. But it sucks, but we keep in contact. We work together whenever we can. We're always in communication. And we're always there to look out for each other. So I wouldn't say they're not going to be here to help me in the immediate,
right?
Especially not the folks who moved away, but they're there to help in another way in case I have to get away. I already have a spot I can lay up or stop over, refuel and get back on the road if I need to.
Right.
I have people around who will take care of me. So it's a blessing and a curse, I guess.
It is, and that question came from Virginia Bushcrafter. So Virginia, the first thing I would do with people that are in your mag and they're out of state, you got to establish some form of communications with them.
Yeah.
Cell phones are great, but if the cell towers go down, do you all have the means to be able to talk over some type of radio? That's the only thing. That's the only thing you can do. And then that way you can, say, hey, you okay? Everything good? I'm good now, but maybe in 2 weeks, I may need some help. Can you help out?
Yep.
And either they can or they can't, And Fed Up American made a good comment when it comes to his preps. He shared some with me with pictures, people, just to say, hey, I'm the real deal. And he asked me specific questions about prepping and preps he has. And, that's when I knew, okay, he's real. He's the real deal. And he's a family man. So, that's
Brandon Rhodes just put up a great point. You got to know your local area. You have to have rally points.
Yes.
A long time ago, when I first started the channel, I did a little thing about how I prepare my maps. I use a compass to draw the circles with, and I give myself a 10-mile circle. So from the center out 5 miles each direction. And I draw myself a big circle, and then I start overlapping all of the important dots on the map that I have. So I start drawing circles for everybody, and wherever those overlap are really good spots for rally points for your friends, your family, whoever is in your area. So those overlapping sections. You will never have to walk more than 10 miles to go and talk to somebody, and most folks can do that in a day.
Right.
And you pre-plan your meetup points. If the lights go out, we're meeting 48 hours after the event here, at location A or B or C, or somewhere within that overlap of those circles on the map. That way, if nobody has transportation, nobody has to walk too awful far, and we can all get together and put our heads together and say, hey, let's come up with a plan, and then walk back.
Exactly. Or that could be a rally point to pick somebody up, or at least escort them back to your place, if they don't know how to get there. Yeah. Titan said that goes back to earlier, meet your neighbors, vet and build them up. The mags are great for unaffected areas, but, get those neighbors on board as well.
Absolutely. That's the big one for me, your neighbors.
My neighbor to the east is a older lady, widow. So I told her, I said, anything you need, you contact me. And I keep an eye out for her and what's going on over her property, just like mine, because she's got woods and everything too. So, I told her, I said, I'm out here. I said, if you see lights at night in my back at dark, don't get weird. I'm out here hunting coyotes. She said, please do. She's like, please. And if you see the groundhogs, she said, shoot them too. I was like, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Marco, you can show all the Q-tips you want. Absolutely. I don't think the Q-tips get people too riled up. But yeah, you don't want to give away all your preps. That's for sure.
Correct. You definitely
some OPSEC, and deception is a good tool as well. Deception is a great tool.
Yes.
I ain't got nothing here.
Right.
There's nothing here.
I feel you. And that goes back to, Fed Up American. He said, this is what he told me. He sent me pictures of some shelves. He said he was adding shelves for his preps, and he showed me the shelves with some stuff on them. That was it. So I said, okay, he's doing something. But yes, don't show all your preps, folks. Never.
No, some folks do. And that goes back to another thing. Don't keep all your eggs in one basket. I am a huge proponent of caches, however you want to put it. Between me and wherever I'm going, there is stuff that I can acquire along the way. I don't have to pack heavy. I can go light, go far, and grab what I need from, pre-plotted things, man. And it's important to have a few of them, because eventually somebody going to find one.
Somebody going to find them. And that's why I have a cache of stuff on one of my exit routes, because I'm of the school of I'm not bugging out. Yeah. I'm going to bug in. Only way I'm bugging out is if my house is on fire or there's 50 people outside and they're all armed. And then I'm going to just blow up the whole property and get away. Plain and simple.
Man, so I'm in proximity. I am 2 hours due north of NYC. Okay. And there's a lot of roads that lead right to me from NYC. The other thing that we have is Indian Point Nuclear Power Plant that sits along the Hudson River, just north of West Point.
Okay.
So if that thing goes, I am about 50 plus miles as the crow flies to it. On the ground, it's a bit more, but it's been turned off. It's decommissioned now, but the fuel rods will be there for the next 30 years cooling before they can be transported out of there. So it's still a threat.
Right.
And that's something that I keep my bug out bags for, just in case.
Yeah.
If something like that goes Fukushima style, it's time for me to hitch up my horse and get the hell out of here.
Right. And you will have some time to get out.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing. Homestead in the Hood said she was part of a group that would meet at Brooklyn side of the Brooklyn Bridge, walk over the bridge into Manhattan and into the Bronx, which is the mainland, then walk upstate.
Yep.
I'll say this. I have a love-hate relationship with New York, the city. I've got family there, and I can only stay there 48 hours before I'm like, okay, I got to get the hell out of here.
Yeah,
but
it's hectic. It's hectic. I don't mess with the city anymore. I stay upstate where I belong.
And Urban Garden Chronicle says, as far as everyone is concerned, I have nothing. I'm playing young and dumb.
That's the way to do it.
That's the way to do it. That is the way to do it.
Yeah, my good buddy Old Mutt says, he's old and he's retired. He had to sell everything to support his gambling habits.
That's good, Old Mutt. I like that.
Yep.
I like that. But folks, you got to get out there. You got to vet people. You got to be cautious. And, you don't tell everything and the first conversation.
Yeah.
And just carry on.
You got to leave room for the future, man. You got to leave room for the future.
Absolutely. Meet them in a coffee shop. If you're going to meet somebody, meet them in public. And if you can, take somebody with you.
Yeah, definitely.
And that was cool because one of my guys, Matt, was going to go with me to meet Fed Up American, and he couldn't go. Yeah. So I was like, okay, that's cool. I wasn't even concerned because I'm locked and loaded. And I just happened to be talking to Triple Threat on the phone. I said, if I disappear, you tell my guys this is where I'm at right here.
Yeah.
Just in case. Yeah. This is it. So, I told somebody where I was and what I was doing. Magic said, I'm trying to prep for a range of situations solo until conditions change.
That's it, man. You do what you can when you can do it, and work within your means, guys. Right? I mean, if
that's
you
all
don't,
we can do.
If you're antisocial, that's a tough one. It's a tough one because a lot of people are, man. There's a lot of introverts, and a lot of people don't want to come out of their shell to do any of this stuff, but they're nervous that they're going to be alone when everything falls apart. When everything falls apart is not the time to meet someone because you're not going to be able to judge that moral character. I saw in the comments that trust is a tough one. There it is. Wolfgang said trust is a tough one. That is not something that's given. That's something that's earned over time.
You got that right.
So you need to get going, but you can't rush it. I wish everybody would go tomorrow and meet up with somebody and say, hey, man, maybe we should work together if things fall apart and maybe have a plan if they fall apart.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Trust your gut. Absolutely. My mother spark. The sixth sense is real.
Yes,
and you have it, and pay attention to it.
Yes.
Pay attention to it. It could save your life.
You have to. Yes, it could. That definitely. And while we're at it, folks, do me a favor, smash the like button. If you have not subscribed to Hudson Valley Prepping and Survival, can one of my moms drop their link? You need to subscribe to My Brother from Another Mother. You have to.
I'm headed back out in the woods soon, so I'm going to start spamming everybody with shorts from the woods.
I love it. And I ain't never
chasing
spent a
Bambi.
day hunting.
Chasing Bambi.
Yeah, I've never spent a day hunting. And that's just something, unless I'm starving, I would do. And that's okay. Yeah. But please get one. You got a bag of deer.
Homestead in the Hood is the only one in Brownsville with chickens. You might be right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's good to see another New Yorker. Good to see another
one that walks by the driveway. Right. Yeah. Well, that's, if you got to do what you got to do. If you live in a urban area and you can get away with having chickens, have chickens. Okay, here's a question here. What about bugging out with disabilities? what kind of tools would help?
Big ass 4-wheel drive vehicle.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. And another location to go to.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes.
That's why we make those connections now, guys, you know, because
Yes.
like I said, folks in my group have moved hundreds and hundreds of miles away, and I miss them dearly, but it's another avenue of escape for a lot of us, and they know it. So they prep accordingly. And occasionally I'll give him some stuff and say, hey man, if I ever got to come through, or if anybody else needs it, here's some stuff I want you to put away.
Right.
And, you know, they got no problem adding to the shelves or wherever they got to store it, just to make sure that there's something there for folks.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what you have to do. Cause I did that with one of my guys. I said, look, here's a tote of stuff. If I have to come your way, I need to come get this tote.
Yep.
And he's like, absolutely. So we got another question. Marco asked, what's the one thing you must have when you go into the woods?
My DD tarp. Gotta have a tarp. Gotta have shelter. Gotta have shelter. I think that's the most overlooked thing, is you get 3 minutes without air. And you're only getting 3 hours without shelter in harsh conditions. If I was stuck outside on a night like tonight without shelter, I'm in big freaking trouble. It is pouring rain outside and it is like 34 degrees. So if I get wet on a night like tonight, I'd be dead before morning came. So I would say that shelter is the number one. And the DD tarp, man, gotta have a DD tarp.
Got to have a tarp. And for me, it would be not only shelter, but some type of security and fire. You know, if you can build a fire. Now, Titan Preparedness did an amazing video talking about, if you go into the woods, what do you do if you cannot build a fire? And he just left, but you guys got to go check that out. And it made perfectly good sense. He said, you see all these channels where the guys go out into the woods, so-called testing their gear, and they build a fire. And now they're like, yeah, my gear's good. They put the fire out and they're gone.
Yep.
What happens if somebody's chasing you, or you can't build a fire because it'll give away your location? So now what do you have? You've got the tarp, you know. Do you have the clothing? Do you have, you know, the emergency blankets, the wool blankets, all of that? I did the video on my new, what I would say, my bug out bag, that if I have to leave, I'd grab. First thing Mike did, he said, and I said, you know, I wanted to put a wool blanket rolled up on it. He said, I got you, man. You need to put these straps on there and blah, 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 and hook it up. And he sent them to me.
Did you find the clips for him? That was the only thing I couldn't find.
Yeah, the clips I found at Walmart.
Fantastic, fantastic.
Yes, and I'm taking it to my seamstress. She's going to sew the straps on, and I'll do a follow-up to it with that.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yes. So folks, you know, you gotta be prepared, especially if you have to leave, if you have to bug out. And I know we've got preps, and you may not be able to take everything you have.
Yeah. Yeah, you're going to have to leave some stuff, man. You're not going to be able to, especially if you got to go on foot. If I got to go on foot, I am crying the whole entire way, man. I am crying every step. All my stuff is gone. It's all home. I don't know what I'm going to do.
Right.
It's all home. It's all going to die, and I'm going to live, and all my stuff is dead, and it's over. Yeah, that would take an emotional toll.
It would. So
that's something else to prep for, guys, is that that swift kick in the gut if you have to walk away from your home. You know, that's a big thing.
It is. It is. You know, Homestead in the Hood. She did a video last week how prepared to evacuate with her walker. Everything fit except her poop bucket. Afterwards, I figured out how to bungee cord at least one solar panel. There you go. Those are the things, especially if you have a disability, folks, you have to figure stuff out.
That's it. It's not going to be easy.
No, it's
not. You got to be innovative.
Yes.
Got to be innovative.
Especially if you're by yourself, you have to be innovative.
Yes.
You have to be. We got some more questions. Virginia Bushcrafter says, people don't run into the bush if you haven't practiced there.
Yeah.
It ain't TV. It requires stamina and endurance. Don't run to the bush, she's saying, if you haven't been there. That's true, folks. Go in the weekend or a night in the woods with what you think you need to survive. Spend a night in there.
Yeah. Another big thing that I preach is you better have a place to go, because this isn't all state forest up here, man. This is all private property. There's a few little state forests, and if people think they're going to come bug out to these places, good luck, man. I could spend a weekend there, but I ain't doing any more longer than that at a state forest up here, because there's nothing for you.
Right.
And you better have a place to go, store some stuff ahead of time. If you're in the city and your plan is to bug out upstate, make sure you have a place to go, at least a family up here that you're friendly with. Angry's got an open invitation. If he needs to get out, him and his family are welcome here. We'll make do. We'll figure it out. But you've got to plan ahead. You've got to plan ahead.
Right. Absolutely. And that's why, and I'm with you on that, Mike. If I have to leave, I have 4 different places I could go. I would prefer not to, but if I have to go, I'm going. And all of them are in walking distance. They're going to take me time to get there, but I'll be crying every step of the way because I had to leave everything.
I got to leave everything.
Yeah. How I could see the picture now, a guy walking, crying, toting a rifle, and just crying.
Playing the little fiddle.
Exactly.
The Prepared Irishman says going out and testing yourself is huge. Knowing what you can or can't do is important. And it's the can't do. I know some things are out of my skill range. There's some things I just don't know how to do.
Right.
And it's important to know your limitations as well as what you're able to handle. And weather can really affect even some of the things you think you're able to do. If your hands get wet, like on a day like today, 38 degrees and rain, my dexterity is going to go to crap. And the things I used to think I was able to do, I can't anymore. Yeah. So keep those things in consideration, guys.
Absolutely.
And there's no shame in a Bic lighter.
No.
Bic light. Flick the Bic, light the fire. The gimmicks are cool. The ferro rods are cool. If you got a bow drill and you can do it, more power to you. Flick the Bic and get warm, man.
Exactly.
Don't be too proud to flick the Bic.
And that's another thing. In inclement weather, test your gear. Go out in the inclement weather and test it so you can get acclimated. If your hands are cold, okay, what do I need to do? First thing I need to do
is that tarp really waterproof, or is it just water resistant? I've gone out and tested rain gear and found out that it's really not going to work for what I'm looking for.
Right.
So it's something to think about. Get out there and test your stuff. Test yourself. That's another big one.
Yes.
And you don't have to. I host the events because you can stay close to your car if you're a newbie. You don't have to go all the way to the other side of the property with us. We have a camp right next to the parking lot. Okay. So you can hang out right next to your car. If you need to car camp to feel comfortable, whatever floats your boat, man. Whatever gets you out and gets you testing your stuff, get you meeting new people, come on out and enjoy yourself.
Exactly. Another question we had here, both of you can have one knife. Which one do we choose?
Ooh. K-bar.
I was just ready to say K-bar. And mine's in my other room. Mad Shad sent me a K-bar knife that
Ooh.
is wicked. But
Yep.
yes, K-bar. K-bar would be my knife of choice.
Yep. Something you can beat the crap out of.
Yes. Wolfgang asks, Hudson Valley, are you a military guy?
No, sir. No, sir. My father was.
Yeah, same here. I'm not. My father was also. John Odell says, having a backup to your backup, redundancy. You don't want your only tool to break out in the field without a backup. Right. If it breaks when you're out in the field, you got to have a backup.
Yep.
Got to have a backup. Magic is talking about trying to find some snow boots.
Ooh.
Been bothering me. Right. Then
can't find where you put
them on. Yeah. Got to have some good boots, folks.
Yep.
You got to keep the dogs warm, because if the dogs freeze,
yeah, man. I actually had boot failure this week at work.
Really?
I had a cheap pair of boots. Buddy stopped by the prepper yard sale, and my feet had gotten soaked that morning. I had sneakers, I wasn't thinking, I didn't pack everything. I had sneakers on. I walked across the field. My feet got soaked, and I spent most of the morning Saturday with soaking wet feet. Now, they weren't frozen, so it wasn't too bad, but I just had wet feet, and I was really itching for that new pair of dry socks. Yeah. And my buddy walks in, and he says, hey, man, I got some boots that I brought. I don't know if anybody would be interested in them. And I was like, did you just bring boots to a guy with soaking wet feet? And he's like, yes, I did. So we did a little barter and a little trade.
Right.
And, they were cheap boots, and I knew they were cheap boots, but they gave me dry feet that day.
Yeah.
So they failed yesterday at work at 27 degrees. And my feet got really, really wet, really, really cold. And I learned my lesson about cheap boots yesterday.
Yeah. I actually, when I buy a boot and I find out that it's a good boot and I've tested it, I'll go buy another pair.
Yep.
And I did the same for my son. I found a boot, I bought a pair, and they're sitting in his closet, still in the box, still in the wrapper, never been used.
Yeah, I wasn't.
Night, Wolfgang.
Those boots weren't something that I was going to go out into the bush with.
Right.
But they were nice. They were nice to slip on and wear to work, or just around the house. And man, yesterday sucked. Those were some cold, wet feet. Terrible. It was terrible. Yeah. But thankfully, I had my wool socks on. So
there you go. So Magic says, I haven't opened my winter chest yet. Maybe in there, who knows? Ain't cold enough to open my deep winter box. It's buried.
Yep, my deep winter box. I'm into the winter box. I'm not into the deep winter box yet.
Yeah, same here. And I hate winter with a passion. I get attitude quick.
Yep.
When you have to go out in the cold.
Yep. I just got a brand new pair of Merrells. They were supposed to be for Christmas, but my wife was like, I can't let your feet freeze. So, Merry Christmas now for later. But yeah, brand new pair of Merrell boots. They're insulated and waterproof. So I'm stoked about it. See how well they hold up. I had a pair of Solomons. I had a pair of Soloms. Those were great hiking boots. They were extremely waterproof for me for about 8 months. And then I probably got too close to the campfire and melted some of that inner, Gore-Tex lining.
Yeah.
And it goes downhill from there. It goes downhill.
Really?
And I work construction, so I beat the crap out of everything. Whatever a normal person's lifespan is, I'm going to get like less than half.
Mm-hmm. So Homestead in the Hood. She was voluntold into a local Boy Scout troop in her 40s, at which time I went on my first camping trip and have been in love with it ever since. That's fantastic. What you have to do. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep. Check out the Facebook group, Homestead, and if you see it, come on upstate and enjoy yourself at one of the events. We'd love to have you.
I'm making the next one. I don't care when you have the bug out weekend. That's why I asked you when you're having yours, so we don't bump heads. But I'm coming. I don't care when it is.
I think
And
early April, maybe I'll throw one out there. That way, that way people can get cold. Maybe the end of April, because it still gets cold, and occasionally we still have some snow on the ground. So it'll be a fun springtime experience for folks before the bugs get real bad up here.
Yeah. Pilgrim Prepper, he just got free soldier boots. Haven't tried them yet. Anyone ever use them?
I have not. Never even heard of them.
So, folks, I will say this. For gear that you may be looking for, hit up the Army surplus stores.
Absolutely. The ECWAX system can save your life.
Right.
And I swear by the military sleep system. I have like 5 of them. I've got one for everybody in the house, plus just in case, because if the power goes out and you have absolutely nothing else, that sleeping bag is good to like minus 30 below zero. So just crawl in there and keep yourself warm. And they're affordable for something rated that well. A surplus military sleep system is the way to go.
I'm gonna look at that. I'm gonna go check the surplus store this weekend and see if they have any.
If you find one of the ones with the multicam or the Scorpion outer, the Gore-Tex layer, let me know, because I need one of those. I got the old school ones. I just need the good camouflage now.
Gotcha. I will keep you in mind and get you one and send it to you.
John Odell, yes, Facebook Marketplace does have some decent deals on military surplus. Make sure it has an EIN number on it, or it's not real military surplus.
EIN. Yep. That's a government social security number.
Yeah, basically.
Right. Brandon said socks are important as boots. Lots of great socks out there. If all price ranges, some of his new favorite socks are from a company called Alpaca. Yes. Alpaca socks. Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm actually looking into alpaca fur liners for the bottom of my boots, because the bottom of the boot is one place where they really don't give you much insulation. And I do ice fishing and stuff, so I'm looking to put a little extra, either wool or alpaca, whichever ones I can find locally. I love the internet, but I really like to go into a store and pick something up and say, this is it.
That's the same way I am. Yes, I like to put hands on and check it out. Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely. What time is it? It is 9:39. Any other questions for the chat? If you got questions to put in, or we just had one. Black Sheep 324 VP. Do you know of any online groups in Ohio? Okay. Black Sheep.
You found one. Congratulations. You did it. Welcome.
You live alone. Okay. Black Sheep 324. I'm on the east side of Columbus, and they asked the question, do I know anybody? Yeah, you're looking at him. Okay. Shoot me an email, Vision Preparedness. Yeah, right here. Yeah. Shoot me an email, visionpreparedness@gmail.com, and let's start a conversation. How's that? I'll say that, and we'll go from there. Black Sheep 324. With that, any other questions? My mother Sparks. Oh yeah. That could either be a good idea or a bad idea. What else we got here?
Prepared Irishman. I happen to be from New York.
There you go. Prepared Irishman. There's your guy right there.
That's right. I actually know the Prepared Irishman personally. He's a great guy. Yep, great guy.
Lovely. Exactly. Any other questions? But no, seriously, Black Sheep 324, shoot me an email. Let's start a dialogue. Yeah, sure. Prepared Irishman. Yeah, there's your guy, and you know that. So
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Call him tonight and ask him what he's having for dinner. Stop by.
I got an extra plate in the microwave for you right now, man. It's
exactly. There you go. There you go.
Good
Anything else? Yardbirds, you know it without a doubt. I was born on a game day, and I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. So yes, I am a diehard Buckeye fan. See, it's on my mug. There you go. Right there, the Buckeyes. But with that, folks, seriously, you got to put yourself out there and just start talking to people. Start with, like Mike said, start with your neighbors. Start with people on your street, on your block, in your apartment building, wherever you are, you know.
The closer, the better.
And yes, it is the Ohio State University. You're absolutely right, Yardbirds. Thank you. But you got to do it, folks. That's how you start building your group. And we all know that there's strength in numbers. You know, that's just like my group. Anybody in state or out of state, if they're coming through or need to go or on their way, they've got a safe haven to stop, you know,
stretch your legs,
eat some food, rest, whatever you may need, and move on or stay, either or, whatever, you know, they have to do. So, you know, and the same goes for you, Mike. You know, if you have a nuclear meltdown up there, which I pray that plant does.
Me too.
If you got to break camp and you need to get through Ohio or to Ohio, we got you.
I appreciate it, brother. Thank you.
We got you. Absolutely.
Anything else for you guys?
I appreciate it. Most definitely. Any other questions? None in the chat. So with that, it is 9:43. And John Odell said, acquire items of value for barter, sugar, coffee, other staples. Right.
That's right.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You have to, folks. With that, again, folks, if you have not subscribed to Hudson Valley Prepping and Survival, you have to. That is mandatory. You got to do it, folks, because you have to experience We All Gonna Die Wednesday. You just have to. And it's the perfect day of the week, especially if you've had a horrible week. You can come over there and we all gonna die anyway. So
enjoy yourself while you're there.
Enjoy yourself, right?
That's right.
Mike, I appreciate you as always.
Thanks so much for having me, brother.
Nah, man, I appreciate you. My amazing moderators, again, thank you so much. Folks, you've been great. Thanks, everybody. Do me a favor on your way out. If you haven't, smash that like button. And Mike, hang around just a minute, and we're going to get out of here. Everybody have a great evening, and remember, keep prepping, because your family depends on you and it depends on your life. Vision Preparedness, everybody have a great evening.